Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. We're thrilled to have you here. Have you ever spent hours on a wood turning project, only to have it ruined by a simple mistake? It's incredibly disheartening. Let's just say I've been there, and it's not a good feeling at all. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand. Frustrating and ultimately pointless, right? But don't worry, that's why I'm here to help you out. On this channel, we're all about helping each other become better woodworkers, and that means learning from our mistakes together. This week we're diving deep into 5 common wood-turning blunders that can trip up even seasoned turners, and I'm going to give you some simple tips to avoid them. We're going to talk about picking the right wood for your project, understanding grain direction, using the correct tools, keeping those tools sharp, and, maybe most importantly, learning to be patient throughout the process. So grab your safety glasses and let's get turning. It's going to be a great session. Alright, let's talk wood. It's the foundation of any wood turning project, and picking the right type can make all the difference. Not all wood is created equal, and understanding the differences is crucial. When it comes to wood turning, choosing the right wood can mean the difference between a project you're proud to show off and one you want to hide in the back of the shop. The right wood can elevate your work to a whole new level. Now, I've made my fair share of mistakes over the years, trust me on that, but one thing I've learned is that you gotta respect the wood. Each type has its own personality and quirks. First off, green wood, that's freshly cut wood, is full of moisture. This moisture content can significantly affect your project. And as it dries, it's gonna move, it's gonna warp, it's gonna crack. This can be frustrating if you're not prepared for it. So unless you're into the whole rustic, unpredictable vibe, I'd recommend sticking to dried lumber, especially when you're starting out. Dried lumber is more stable and predictable. Now, even within dried lumber, you've got a lot of choices. Each type of wood offers something unique. You've got your hardwoods like oak, maple, walnut. They're strong, they're durable, they make beautiful pieces. These woods are often the go-to for high-quality projects. But they can be tough to turn, especially for beginners. The density of hardwoods can be challenging to work with. Then you've got your softwoods like pine, cedar, redwood. They're easier to work with, more forgiving, but they can be a little more prone to dents and scratches. These are great for practice and learning. So how do you choose? It all comes down to your specific project and what you want to achieve. Well, think about your project. What kind of look and feel are you going for? A sturdy oak bowl, a delicate cedar ornament? The end use will guide your choice. What kind of look and feel are you going for? A sturdy oak bowl? A delicate cedar ornament? Each wood type brings its own aesthetic and functional qualities. Then consider your skill level. If you're just starting out, maybe go with a softer wood like pine or poplar. These woods are more forgiving and easier to handle. If you're just starting out, maybe go with a softer wood like pine or poplar. These woods are more forgiving and easier to handle. As you get more comfortable, you can graduate to those harder woods. The challenge will help you grow as a wood turner. And don't be afraid to experiment. That's how you learn. Trying different woods will expand your skills and knowledge. I remember this one time I was turning a piece of cherry and I thought I had completely ruined it. The wood was challenging, but I kept at it. And you know what? It ended up being one of my favorite pieces. Persistence paid off. It ended up being one of my favorite pieces. The satisfaction of overcoming the challenge was immense. So go to the lumberyard, get your hands on some different types of wood, see how they feel, and don't be afraid to try something new. The right wood can inspire your next masterpiece. Okay, so you've got your wood all picked out, you're ready to start turning, but hold on a second. Before you even think about touching that wood to your lathe, you've got to understand grain direction. This is one of those things that can really trip up new turners. And honestly, even some experienced folks too. It's a fundamental aspect of wood turning that can make or break your project. Think of wood grain like the fibers in a stalk of celery. You can cut celery cleanly if you slice it the right way, but try cutting it against the grain and you end up with a stringy mess. Wood is similar. Turning with the grain means your tool is slicing through those wood fibers cleanly, giving you a smooth, even surface. Turning against the grain, well, it's like trying to cut that celery the wrong way. You're gonna get tear out, which is when chunks of wood get ripped out instead of cut cleanly, leaving your piece rough and uneven. Not exactly the look we're going for, right? Tear out can be incredibly frustrating and can ruin an otherwise perfect piece. So, how do you tell which way the grain is running? Well, it's not always easy, but here's a little trick. Look at the end grain of your wood. See those lines that run from the center out to the bark? Those are the growth rings. Now imagine those rings continuing along the length of the wood. That's basically the direction of the grain. Understanding this can help you plan your cuts more effectively. When you're turning a bowl or a vessel, you want to orient the grain so that it's running from the headstock to the tailstock. This way, your tool is cutting with the grain as you shape the outside of the piece. It takes a little practice to get the hang of seeing the grain, but trust me, it's worth it. The more you practice, the better you'll get at identifying and working with the grain. Once you start paying attention to grain direction, you'll notice a huge difference in the quality of your work. Your cuts will be cleaner, your surfaces will be smoother, and you'll avoid a lot of frustration. Mastering grain direction is a game changer in wood turning. Here in the shop, we love our tools, right? They are the backbone of our craft, the silent partners in our creative journey. But even the most expensive, high-quality wood-turning tools won't do you much good if you're not using the right one for the job. It's like having a luxury car but no idea how to drive it. Trying to make a specific cut with the wrong tool is like trying to eat soup with a fork. It's just not going to work very well. You might get a few sips, but it's far from efficient. You end up frustrated and the soup ends up everywhere. Similarly, your project can turn into a mess. So let's talk about some of the basic wood-turning tools and what they're designed to do. Understanding their purpose can make a world of difference. First up, you've got your roughing gouge. This tool is essential for the initial stages of your project. This is your workhorse, your go-to tool for taking down square blanks to round shapes. It's the first step in transforming raw material into something beautiful. It's got a deep flute and a bevel that's ground at a fairly steep angle, which allows it to remove a lot of material quickly. Efficiency is key here. Then you've got your spindle gouges. These are the artists of the wood-turning world. These are used for shaping spindles, beads, coves, basically anything that's long and slender. They bring finesse to your work. They come in a variety of sizes and flute shapes, each designed for a specific type of cut. Knowing which one to use can elevate your craftsmanship. You've got your detail gouges for fine work, perfect for those intricate designs. Your skew chisels for planing and creating those crisp, clean lines, adding a professional touch to your pieces, and your parting tools for, well, parting off your work pieces. They help you finish your project with precision. Each tool has a specific purpose, and using the right tool for the job will not only make your life easier, it'll also enhance the quality of your work. It'll also give you better results. Your projects will look more polished and professional. Now, I know it can be tempting to try to make one tool do everything, especially when you're first starting out and don't want to invest in a ton of different tools. But this approach can limit your potential. But trust me, using the right tool for the job is worth it. It'll save you time, it'll save you frustration, and it will make the learning process much smoother. But trust me, using the right tool for the job is worth it. It'll save you time, it'll save you frustration, and it might even save you a trip to the emergency room. Safety should always be your top priority. Speaking of which, always wear your safety glasses. Protecting your eyes is non-negotiable in this craft. Have you ever tried to cut something with a dull knife? It's frustrating, right? You end up having to use way more force and you're more likely to slip and cut yourself. The same principle applies to wood-turning tools. A sharp tool cuts cleanly and efficiently, requiring minimal effort from the turner. A dull tool, on the other hand, tends to tear at the wood rather than cut it, resulting in a rough finish and putting unnecessary strain on both the tool and the turner. Think of it this way: a sharp tool is a safe tool. When your tools are sharp, you have more control over the wood, and you're less likely to have the tool catch or chatter. This is especially important when you're working with a lathe, which can be a very powerful and potentially dangerous machine. Now, I know sharpening tools can seem intimidating, especially if you're new to woodworking, but trust me, it's not as complicated as it seems. There are plenty of great resources available to help you learn how to sharpen your tools properly, including books, videos, and classes. A basic sharpening setup usually involves a grinding wheel for shaping the tool's bevel and a honing system for refining the edge. There are also guided systems available that can help you maintain consistent angles while sharpening. Remember, a little time spent sharpening your tools will pay off big time in the quality of your work and the enjoyment you get from wood turning. We've all been there, right? You're excited about a project, you're eager to see the finished product, so you rush through the process. And what happens? You make mistakes, you get frustrated, you end up with a piece that looks like a beaver chewed on it. Trust me, I've been there more times than I care to admit. Wood turning, like any craft, takes time and patience. It's about learning to slow down, to appreciate the process, to enjoy the journey as much as the destination. One of the things I love about wood turning is that it forces me to slow down, to be present in the moment. When you're working with a spinning piece of wood and sharp tools, you can't afford to be distracted or in a hurry. Now, I know it can be tough to be patient, especially when you're just starting out and eager to see results. But trust me, the more you practice patience, the better your work will become. Take your time, focus on making each cut cleanly and accurately, and don't be afraid to step away from the lathe for a few minutes if you start to feel yourself getting tense or frustrated. Remember, wood turning is supposed to be enjoyable. So, relax, take a deep breath, and enjoy the process. The more you enjoy the journey, the more rewarding the destination will be. Well, there you have it. 5 common wood turning mistakes and, more importantly, how to avoid them. Remember, choosing the right wood, understanding grain direction, using the correct tools, keeping those tools sharp, and practicing patience will make a world of difference in your wood turning journey. Now I know it might seem like a lot to remember, but the best way to learn is to actually get out there and start turning. Don't be afraid to experiment, to make mistakes, and most importantly, to learn from those mistakes. Every wood turner, from the seasoned pro to the absolute beginner, has made their fair share of blunders. It's all part of the learning process. So, go fire up those lathes, make some shavings, and most importantly, have fun. And hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more woodworking tips and tricks, and share it with your friends. Until next time, happy turning.